Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today's topic isn't something most people like to think about during their everyday lives, and that's completely understandable. However, understanding what we're about to discuss can make an enormous difference for you and your loved ones in the future. The reason for having this conversation isn't because there's an immediate emergency. It's because families who prepare ahead of time are far less likely to face unnecessary stress, confusion, or financial exploitation during one of the most difficult moments they will ever experience. In 2026, the funeral industry in the United States is undergoing some of the most significant changes seen in decades. New regulations, evolving consumer protections, expanded funeral options, and increased government scrutiny are reshaping how families plan final arrangements and how funeral providers operate. In this video, we'll carefully walk through these important developments, explain your rights, uncover common industry practices that many families don't know about, and explore the new choices available today. My goal is simply to provide clear, practical information so that you and your family can make informed decisions when the time comes. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. Here, we focus on important updates that affect your finances, your legal rights, and your family's well-being, information that many people unfortunately discover only after it's too late. Now, let's start with one of the most important reasons federal regulators have spent years examining the funeral industry. When a family loses someone they love, they are often overwhelmed with grief and forced to make numerous decisions in a very short period of time. Unfortunately, investigations have shown that some funeral providers take advantage of this emotional vulnerability. According to consumer protection agencies, certain funeral homes have been accused of steering families toward more expensive services, failing to clearly disclose lower-cost alternatives, and sometimes creating the impression that certain services are legally required when they are not. Government investigations have uncovered numerous cases involving inconsistent pricing information, limited transparency, and practices that made it difficult for consumers to compare costs. In some instances, families were encouraged to purchase services they were not legally obligated to buy, resulting in hundreds or even thousands of dollars in unnecessary expenses. These concerns have become a major reason why regulators are pushing for stronger transparency requirements and better consumer protections throughout the industry. One of the biggest issues involves pricing transparency. While funeral homes have traditionally been required to provide price information upon request, many consumers have found it difficult to compare costs before visiting a provider in person. This lack of transparency often places families at a disadvantage during an already stressful time. To address this problem, regulators have been working on updated rules that would require funeral providers to make pricing information more easily accessible online. Such changes would allow families to compare services, understand their options, and make decisions without feeling pressured or rushed. It's also important to understand your rights. Under current consumer protection rules, funeral homes must provide detailed pricing information when requested. You have the right to choose only the services you want, and you cannot be forced to purchase bundled packages that include unwanted items. If a provider claims that a particular service is legally required, you should always ask for the specific law or regulation that supports that claim. At the same time, Americans are increasingly choosing alternatives to traditional funeral arrangements. Rising costs have encouraged many families to explore options that are more affordable, flexible, and aligned with their personal values. Cremation continues to grow in popularity across the country because it often costs significantly less than a traditional burial. Many families now choose direct cremation and hold a separate memorial service at a later date, allowing them to celebrate their loved one's life in a more personal and meaningful way. Newer alternatives are also gaining attention. Environmentally conscious options, including water-based cremation methods and natural organic reduction, have become legally available in a growing number of states. These approaches offer families additional choices while reducing environmental impact. Another development worth watching involves legislation that could expand how Americans pay for funeral expenses. Lawmakers are currently considering proposals that would allow certain tax-advantaged savings accounts to be used for end-of-life costs. If approved, these changes could provide millions of families with greater financial flexibility when planning final arrangements. As we conclude, Remember that preparation is one of the most effective ways to protect yourself and your loved ones. Always request detailed pricing information before making decisions. Compare costs from multiple providers and document your wishes clearly so your family understands your preferences. Families who plan ahead generally experience less stress, avoid unnecessary expenses, and are better equipped to make thoughtful decisions during difficult times. If you found this information valuable, please subscribe, share this video with family members, and help others stay informed about important changes that could affect their future.